Alright, welcome back to the Elden Ring walkthrough. Today, we take on do I start over the video? No, we keep going. Starscourge Radahn. Back on the old character. Good to be back, let me tell you. That last episode, not my favorite one to record. We're gonna start out, warp to the impassable Great Bridge, and use the waygate to get across. We're just gonna pass the impassable Great Bridge. And this is going to take you pretty much to the end of Redmain Castle. Run over here, there's going to be a grace for us to get. And then in here off to the left, there's going to be a finger maiden for us to talk to. She's not going to say anything, but she'll give us the polite bow gesture. And then ignore Blythe and Alexander for a minute and just walk forward to hear Jaren's speech. If you go and talk to them, you risk triggering the speech and then interrupting him, and he won't give the speech a second time, so...
Radahn, mightiest demigod of the Shattering, awaits you. Champions, prepare for battle. Defeat the general, claim glory, and grab that great rune. A celebration of war. The Radahn Festival.
Alright, cool. Now you can speak to Blythe.
No, the players are all made. Let's give them a just don't you? Once.
Alright, and then Alexander.
Indeed, I buy the bar. Well, to think. But be sure to get
Okay. And then up the stairs to speak to Jaren.
The festival.
You can tell him that you're ready. And the cutscene's gonna play, he's gonna explain some stuff about Radahn to you. I'm gonna skip it so we can get on with this. Get the heartening cry gesture for him. Keep talking, make sure he said everything. Alright, cool. And then you can run over to this area with all the chairs. And there's gonna be a smithing stone for us. Somber smithing stone 5. Then into the chapel. Smithing stone 6, which we desperately need. And then you can go down the lift when you're ready. Okay, so Radahn. Kind of a weird fight. He used to be significantly worse. They nerfed him pretty quickly after the game came out. I really don't think he's too bad now. But it kind of depends how you approach him. This fight is sort of meant to be taken on with phantoms. Basically everyone you saw in that courtyard there gathered, you can summon in this fight. And the way it works is they're going to be... You see all those ghostly banners in the distance? There's going to be like congregations of summon signs around them. There might be one, there might be like 3 summon signs. And they only take one single press of a button to actually summon them. So like normally you'd walk up to a summon sign, press whatever button it is on your controller, and then it would pop up with a menu saying, are you sure you want to summon so-and-so? And then you click yes. You don't have to do that here. Just interacting with it at all is going to instantly summon them. I think you can have 6 of them active at any time, and if they die, their summon sign will reappear somewhere and you can summon them again. Now, I haven't written down exactly how this works. I'm sure you could find the information out there somewhere, but each NPC can appear at various different banners, and certain ones can be summoned more times than others. I think off the top of my head, it's something like 25 times you can summon like across the board. So like if you were to exhaust everyone's summons, I think you can summon 25 times. So with that in mind, you can easily kill this boss without ever actually attacking it and just letting the summons do the work for you. But that being said, I think that the boss is, I mean, not surprisingly, it's going to be a lot easier if you join him with the summons and just completely overwhelm him with numbers and aggression, because you're going to be able to get a lot of staggers and crits and just a ton of damage, really. I have a note here, let me find it somewhere about that. Sorry, I wrote down a lot about this fight, but okay, here it is. So in my test runs, he was a lot harder to kill when I was focused on just constantly resummoning NPCs, as in like not helping them fight, just only focused on resummoning. But being aggressive was really effective even when I was using what I would consider to be a very weak build. I was using a battle axe with less than 350 attack power even while I was two-handing it. For reference, my weapon right now, 369, and that's like, you know, if I two-hand it's not going to make much of a difference, but this is a dexterity weapon, it's faster, has some bleed build up. I was running like a strength build, so even when two-handing and getting that extra strength, I was getting less than 350 attack power. So less damage, no status effects, nothing like that. I did also have the Axe Talisman equipped, which enhances your charge attacks, but I probably only hit like 3 or 4 charge attacks throughout the entire fight. Despite that, throughout the battle, I got 3 staggers and the follow-up crits, and that did enough damage that he didn't transition to phase 2 until he was around 10 to 15% health, even though he can go to phase 2 as early as 50% health. So basically, I was just demolishing him. So that's just, you know, little, what's the word? Just, I don't know, vouching for the hyper-aggressive strategy. So let's go in here. You can use Torrent, which is really nice. When you first get in here, he's going to be launching arrows at you. He's got a couple different versions of arrows. One of them is just like straight up sniping you, which you can avoid if you're sprinting to the side on Torrent narrowly. It's a little safer if you actually try to roll through it, but you can just, yeah, you have to be running sideways. You can't just be like walking like I just was. Get the casual greeting gesture if it's your first time summoning Great Horn Tragoth. I know I mentioned back when we fought Magma Worm a long time ago, he was an optional summon, and if you wanted to summon him there, you'd get the greeting, but I did not. So this Brain of Arrows thing you can really easily avoid by just running like perpendicularly to its path. But basically just spam all these summon signs, and he's gonna switch to melee once someone gets close to him, which will usually be one of the summons. And he's got all these like huge like sweeping attacks, so you know he can focus on really whoever he wants, and you can still get caught up in like the collateral damage. But if you're on foot and stay like right underneath him, a lot of that's just gonna miss you. When he runs around in circles like this, I like to lock onto him, otherwise he's gonna get behind you, and that's not good. But you already see people are dying, and if you run back there where we just were, you'll be able to find their summon signs again. But as the fight goes on, some of them are gonna move up to here, like you see one right over here, and mount up Torrent. I think they're on a 30-second cooldown, but we already have a couple more we can grab here. Oh, not yet on that one, but yeah, I would just get them all. Try to do it even faster than I did at the beginning of this fight, and just make a beeline for Radahn and just start going in on him. I thought I just got a stagger there, but I did not. There we go. Get that. So he's reached 50% health, which means that at any point he can go into phase 2, which looks like that. He's gonna fly up in the air, and it's gonna go quiet for a second, and I only have one earbud in, so it's gonna be... He basically always comes from behind wherever your camera is, and you want to not get hit by that. At 75% health, he also starts like weaving in more gravity attacks, but like you're gonna be at 75% health like instantly, so he basically always has gravity attacks for you to worry about. At this point, everyone's basically dead, so I can go ahead and summon a bunch of people again. Now he's got this other attack where he's gonna roar and then run away to like queue up for a charge. And when he does that, that's when he's gonna send off these meteors that are floating above him. And he's also gonna combo that with like this big diving gravity shockwave thing. And then what else? That big AoE thing you just saw him use that pulled me in. You can time a roll to roll through the actual shockwave if you're prepared for it. I was not. Otherwise, just be very careful of the follow-up attack. Here it comes. So he's gonna send those in like 2 waves, and then the big dive bomb thing with the wave at the end. So really easy to dodge if you're on torrent. Otherwise, you're gonna have to just like dodge side to side through those 2 volleys of meteors. This one's pretty nasty. This big flying corkscrew attack. He's gonna do 2 of them. But, I mean, that's like most of what you really need to look out for. Otherwise, it's really just a matter of constantly resummoning these NPCs and going in to help them fight. I've been talking a lot in this fight and have not been very aggressive at all, and you see he's already still down at like 10% health or something, so... And down he goes. Now if you're a ranged user, I would definitely probably just stay on torrent, honestly, because, you know, you can just keep running circles around him and spamming spells. That would probably be your best bet, but after he dies, cutscene's gonna play. I'm gonna skip through it. But you're now gonna have access to a new area, which is now conveniently marked on the map in red. I'm not sure what patch changed that, but it definitely didn't do that the first time I played through the game. And then you can speak to Blythe.
What a sick glory of the falling. I can't father. He was a living. And the path is now to Nokra. Let's meet where we'll take up us. We'll go into my only purpose. The curtain is rising. We'll go into my only purpose is the curtain is rising.
All right, there we go. His dialogue's exhausted. Yep, Alexander over here.
Aye. One hit after that, and as such, as luck. If I and you know, who could expect? Just you. Who could expect?
Okay. Also, I forgot to mention a couple things with the arrows, just because I was busy talking about other things. But you can, at the beginning of the fight, when he's spamming arrows, you can block one of them with these piles of debris, which a lot of the NPC summon signs are around. It's going to destroy the pile, so you can only do it like once per arrow. But if you're really struggling with blocking them, I would run between these piles and just use them as defense. And then additionally, he has so he's got the like sniper shot, he's got the rain of arrows, and then when you get kind of like medium close distance before he puts the bow away, he's gonna have this like kind of shotgun blast, which has the potential to hit a lot of targets at once, but it just, I don't know, it misses pretty often, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that one's too much of a threat, at least if you're on torrent and can just run to the side. And by the time he pulls out that, you or the NPCs are getting close enough to him that he's gonna drop his bow any second and switch to melee, so... but anyway, that is about it. There are some corpses kind of scattered around the arena that have some Radahn spears on them, if you want to loot those. And then there's also a catacomb at the north edge of the arena, but I'll cover that later in the Dragon Barrow section, because it's like Dragon Barrow difficulty. It's going to be a little tough right now, so... For now, you can either return to entrance or warp back to chamber outside the plaza. And then we can return to that chapel that we got some smithing stones from. speak to Jaren, and this will actually like properly initiate his quest line. Alright, cool. So from this point, after you rested a grace, the Radahn festival will officially be over, and Redmain Castle will be full of enemies, loot, and even a boss, which we'll cover in a moment. But first, travel over to a road to the manor all the way up here and speak to EG.
General, there is thanks to descend and make it.
And talk
Not to bother Blythe as being apparently.
about Blythe.
Descend and make it you so that late.
About Blythe again. Alright, he's repeating himself, so we're good to go here. And then travel all the way down to Limgrave to Geel Lake South. And you want to run up the hill to the Forlorn Everjail. We fought Darwheel with Blythe a long time ago. Hear a howl, and you can speak to Blythe in here. And then I like to just back out of here, or you can do don't open it. Yeah, so then once you get to that point, just don't open it and go back to EG. If you do open it, that's totally fine. We're gonna come back and do it in like 2 seconds, but you miss a little bit of dialogue, I think. I don't know. Not 100% sure if you open it right there, if you can come back and get this dialogue or not, but better safe than sorry. Ask him why Blythe is in the Everjail, he's gonna explain it. And then back to Geel Lake South. Open the Everjail, speak to Blythe.
I don't know what came, but even if the odds now, the fight against him. I'm going to. I don't know what, but even if the odds is.
Alright, and now, that's pretty much it for this. So, last thing to know, after you kill Radahn, you can now buy his armor from Finger Reader Enya, and it is alterable. So that means that we can technically progress Bach's questline now after all this time. However, you're going to want to avoid doing that, and specifically avoid giving him a larval tier if he asks you for one, because we're going to go finish his story up once we actually have access to all the possible endings for it, which, as I am heavily implying right now, we do not yet have. So just ignore Bach a little longer if you find him. Now, for the Great Rune, you can warp to Fort Faroth. The Divine Tower of Caelid is technically located in Dragon Barrow, but you can pretty much circumvent clearing the tower, which would otherwise be fairly challenging at this point, and just go straight to the roof, which is where we need to be for Great Rune purposes anyway. So, from Fort Faroth, head west. Hopefully you've killed Grail by this point, otherwise this will be slightly more sketchy, but still doable, I assume. I honestly haven't tried this with all the dragons still roaming around here, but I don't see why it wouldn't be possible, especially on horseback. Probably don't upset the dragons around here right now. You can if you want to, there's no harm in it, they'll just be annoying to deal with. And we're just going to follow the road. If you get lost on the map, it's the one you see here, up to this point where we can get a map. There's some loot and stuff scattered around this lake with the dragons, but I'll come back and get that when we actually cover Dragon Barrow. Get the Dragon Barrow map finally. Finish the map in this area. And then the tower's off to our right. Pretty hard to miss, but real quick while we're here, just keep running a little bit further. Have another grace up ahead. And then, I don't know. Yeah, let's just grab it while we're here. There's a merchant up this hill. For some reason, I don't have it in my notes right now to go see him. I assume, well, I know for a fact if it's not here, actually, it's going to be later in the Dragon Barrow section. But he has an item that there's just really no harm in picking up right now. I don't know how aggressive these dogs are going to be, but I'm still avoiding them. Alright, so talk to this guy. He's got a few things here. Ritual pot, go ahead and grab that, why not? Lost Ashes of War if you need them. Samurai set. He's got a couple of notes here about the gateway one. I'm fairly certain is talking about how in Fort Gale there's a way gate that sends you to Redmain Castle, which I pointed out in the last episode. And Hidden Cave is going to be about a hidden cave, which is right next to the graveyard that we found Millicent near, that church in the graveyard and stuff, which we'll be back to as part of Selen's questline, so don't worry about that. But what I wanted to point out was this beast repellent torch, which is kind of cool. If you have it out, it says it pacifies wild beasts, so there's some like aggressive animals like wolves and stuff that if you have this out, they won't bother you unless you like bother them first, so that comes in handy every once in a while. Like I said, we were going to grab it eventually, but I mean, something like that, the longer you have it, the more uses you'll find for it. But go back to Dragon Barrow West, mount up Torrent, and run towards the tower. There's going to be a teardrop scarab on this branch you can try to kill. He explodes. Get a Somber Smithing Stone 8, which is super nice because we picked up a Somber Smithing Stone 9 like the first time we came to Dragon Barrow, so once you get a 7, you're just going to get like 3 free upgrades basically. And by that point, we might even have an Ancient Dragon, or Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone as well. So, really just one Somber Smithing Stone 7 away from maxing out a Somber weapon at this point. But hop off the cliff on this branch, and then down, deal with this guy. And then, I'm just going to stay on Torrent. There are like some minor, I'm going to put on a lantern too actually. Some like minor platforming things to do here. It's a little safer on Torrent because if you fall off you have that double jump ready to get you back on the ledge. Watch out for this guy hiding around the corner. Guarding a stone sword key, and then you can backtrack to this ladder we were just at. Alright, and then all these jumps are makeable on foot, but like I said, Torrent... Okay, well... That's not what I wanted. Got pushed right off the edge. I guess back here. That's the downside to Torrent, is it's just like hard to steer compared to your character. See, since we're in Dragon Barrow, just this normal guy with a torch is taking 4 swings to take out. Just not quite high enough level for this area yet. Alright, so at the top, try this again. Hop across here. Watch out for another gap. Hop across there. We get to this corner. And then I'm definitely taking Torrent for this one. Get to this corner with a light, or a lighter? No, fire, and a ladder. Twirl one more time. Jump up here. And around the corner for Newman's rune. And then you can backtrack to the ladder and the fire. Carefully hop off and then climb the ladder to get to the Divine Tower of Caelid Center Grace. So once again, since this is technically still Dragon Barrow, we're just here for the Great Rune. There's a whole like area inside this tower off to the left here that you can do now if you really want to. It's going to be kind of challenging, and there's platforming in there, so I'm just going to put that off until I absolutely have to do it because it's super annoying. So for now, just go up here to the right, up the stairs, and open the gate. And take the lift to the top. And restore the power of Radahn's Great Rune. So friendly reminder, you can always swap your Great Rune at any grace at any time, and then activate it whenever you want with a Rune Arc, which will give you the rune's effects until you die. So we've just been sitting on Godric's Great Rune for quite a while, but just wanted to remind you that that is how it works since we haven't gotten a Great Rune in so long. But Radahn's Great Rune is going to give you an increase to your HP, stamina, and FP, all by 15%, which is really nice, but this early in the game, the +5 to all attributes you get from Godric's Great Rune is probably still going to be better. The only exception would maybe be if your build was like super focused on one of those stats, and you've already hit hard cap, where more levels in Vigor, Mind, or Endurance aren't really giving you much benefit, and that's pretty unlikely this early in the game. So I mean, feel free to do the math for yourself to figure out if it's more worth having +5 levels to Vigor, Mind, and Endurance, or +15% to the stats that they govern. But yeah, more of a super nice late game and new game cycle kind of thing, or new game plus cycles. So with that, warp back to the impassable Great Bridge. And we're going to do it again. We're going to pass the bridge. This time on foot. I don't think these will hit you if you keep running. I've been wrong before. Alright, so there's like a weird assortment of loot here. Some of it is useless to us and some of it is very helpful. So around the back, Smithing Stone 3, not very helpful. And then climb up this hill. I'm gonna go all the way to the top. Avoid the ballista. And the troll if possible. And you can jump down into the tower over here to get inside of it. I'm going to drop down here. And we get Smithing Stone 6, which is a whole lot better. That I can use. And that should be at least 2, so you could go back to the blacksmith if you want. Then hop down here. Just follow this around. I usually like to use Torn for this jump. And Teardrop Scarab. This guy. And one of these problems. Oh wait, he's alive. Oh, you get a golden rune 9 from it as usual, so that's nice. Flower back here, and butterflies. Then you can climb the ladder to get inside. Okay, so for a bit here, you can kind of just sneak up on things and backstab. If you don't run at them like I just did. Unfortunately, not this one. If you have a ranged attack, you take the dog out from up here. Nice and easy. And duck in here to the left, there's going to be a ton of enemies sleeping in here. Armor's Cookbook 5. Smithing Stone 5. And that should do it. And then you can open this for a shortcut back out to where we just were. And through the other entrance, there's just one person in here to worry about. Keep forgetting I don't have spinning slash on my katana like I did on the other character. Okay, and then out here to the left if you need to. So a Crimson Scarab to refill your health. Your healing flasks, rather. Then you can crouch. I don't like to move if they're staring at me, so... Here we go. Sneak into here. Armor's Cookbook 4. Oh, there's a slime. Okay, well, that's fine. We can sneak around the outside too. Oh. Here for Golden Rune 6, and then you can hop down. Go through this barricade. There's going to be a couple enemies hiding here. Okay, he can hit me, but I can't hit him. Ignore the way gate. That's just going to take you back to the beginning of the bridge that we crossed to get here, so not really helpful. But cut up here to the right. Inside and up the ladder. Pumpkinhead to deal with. Okay. The Flamberge there, and another Smithing Stone 3 for some reason. They can climb up this ladder too. I really don't know why they do that with the loot. Like, if you're gonna give me Smithing Stone 5 and 6, then I definitely don't need 3s anymore. There's another 5, so I'll quit complaining. Alright, and then head back down and right at... I guess I didn't really point them out, so just follow what I do. All these flamethrowers over here, so I'm just gonna try to take these out. Ow. Come on. There we go. I guess you don't really have to do this if you don't want to, because the grace that we got earlier before Radahn is right there, so rest of that if you need it, and if you don't want to deal with running through all these guys from that angle, then you can just warp to that, I suppose. Up here to the left... That was awkward. Damn, that was perfectly in sync. Good job, boys. I can tell you've been practicing. Smithing Stone 4. Alright, and then down here to the right, it's going to be another Iron Virgin. I don't think this one's too bad at this point in the game, but if you've committed to just never fighting them ever, I can respect that too. Thought I could do it in time. Alright, and then straight ahead, red hot wet blade that's going to let you put fire and flame art affinities on your weapon. And the Iron Virgin can't chase you in there if it wasn't obvious, so totally fine to just run by it. You can still get that, no problem. And then we're just going to clear the rest of these ramparts. Try to bait these guys. Oh, I'm out of those arrows. Away from the knight is what I was going to say. There we go. And then the knights. And one more smithing stone 6. Then you can just backtrack all the way to where the Iron Virgin was, which was right about here. And if you want to, if you have ranged attacks, you can totally cheese these lions from up here on this ledge. I like to try to like run over the edge and get one's attention, and then he should run over there to try to run up to us. He can't get through the barricade, but that's fine. And then you probably have time to like run all the way down the stairs, but just so that he doesn't like fully backtrack, I usually will hop over the wall around here somewhere. And he'll be waiting for us, so this way you can take him on one at a time. Down goes 1, get a Somber Smithing Stone 4, Beast Blood, a couple Old Fangs, and they should both drop the exact same thing, so if you're not interested in that, then don't have to fight either one of them really. So close. We go, and we get another Smithing Stone 4 and a leaf. And then you just warp back to the chamber. Okay, so from this grace, it is time for the boss. So this is going to be a duo fight against a Misbegotten Warrior, very similar, pretty much identical to the Leonine Misbegotten back in Castle Morn, and a standard, just normal Crucible Knight. So, unsurprisingly, the goal is to get rid of the Misbegotten Warrior as fast as possible, so that you can just 1v1 the Crucible Knight, because they are bad enough without something else tagging along trying to kill you. I'm probably going to go for my usual parry strat here. But basically the Crucible Knight is going to join the fight very early, so you just want to hit the Misbegotten Warrior with everything you possibly can before that happens. It will, however, usually take him a second to actually walk over to you if you're standing near the entrance to the arena. And the Misbegotten Warrior is so aggressive it might just push you back there anyway, so... but it has hardly any poise, so pretty much any summon is going to help you with stun locking him. Go for just jumping heavy attacks over and over again. You should be able to keep it stun locked with pretty much any weapon. And hopefully get a crit as well. And that's, I think that's all I really want to say. Actually, you know what? Speak of the opportunity for that Flame Grant Me Strength incantation we picked up a second ago. I don't have 15 faith. Actually, I might be able to get 15 faith. 13. That gives us 5 more. Perfect. Buff and get inside. So that is how I'd recommend doing that. Extra damage from this buff is so nice. And like I said, normal Crucible Knight, so around half health he's gonna do his little glowing stomp, grow the wings, and then he's gonna get his extra attacks where he can fly at you, or do the dragon tail. There he goes. Just keeping myself topped off with the Crimson Assassin's Blade or whatever it's called. Definitely one of my favorite talismans in the game. And down he goes. So, kill them to get the Ruin's Greatsword. That's going to be another legendary armament for us. Contributing to the legendary armaments achievement. And that is going to do it for Caelid and for Starscourge Radahn, Redmain Castle, everything really to do with this place. We're pretty much done. So, hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for Nokron. Catch you later.